Of getting to the bottom of it, let's talk nuclear. Since all the islands are going to be underwater, we better get our SMRs up and running, right? Well, no, not if you're the Albanese government. But check out this article. Revealed countries with cheap nuclear power. Oh, if only we could be one of those. It reads, in the US, government data shows Washington, Nebraska, North Carolina and Missouri are all in the top 10 cheapest states for electricity for residential customers and all have nuclear power as part of their mix. Conversely, some of the states with the most expensive electricity, Rhode Island, Alaska, Massachusetts and Hawaii, do not have nuclear power. Check out this graph of all the countries benefiting from incredible nuclear power. I've said it before, I'll say it again. This is the golden standard of power. It is affordable, it is reliable, and unlike coal, which also checks those two boxes very thoroughly, it is green. It is completely emissions free. We have absolutely no excuse not to implement it here, and yet Australia still has the international embarrassment of being the only G20 country with a moratorium on nuclear energy. I mean, this got embarrassing a very long time ago. It generates over 10% of the entire world's power. This is not some backwater, oh, so risky technology anymore. Gone are the days, and we're still the ones who simply won't do it. And it grinds my gears that it was the Howard government who put that moratorium in place to please the anti-nuclear lobby of the time, just like this government won't move a muscle to lift it because they're trying to appease all the climate change activists, all their mates now firmly in renewables, etc. and so on.
The two arguments that the Albanese government use against nuclear is it's not safe and it's too expensive. And just in those few minutes there, you blew both of those arguments out of the water. You showed a graph indicating America's got 93 nuclear reactors, France has got 56, China's got 55. We could go on and on. It's clearly safe. And in terms of how cheap it is, as you said, the stats in America, and if you go to Europe, Bulgaria, Hungary, Spain have the cheapest energy in Europe, and they're using nuclear reactors. But have a listen to Chris Bowen, because he is determined to stick with his line, no matter how stupid he looks in the process.
Nuclear is the most expensive form of energy. We have a cost of living crisis, energy prices going through the roof, and what's their big bright idea? They say, let's have the most expensive form of energy we can possibly think of.
Oh,
does anyone take Chris Bowen seriously?
My God, two problems there. Most expensive form of energy. You said nuclear. Like, if you can't even pronounce it properly, mate, you shouldn't be the energy minister. It's nuclear. Get out of dictionary. Write the word down and spell it. Nuclear, not nuclear. And not only are we the only country in the G20 that has a moratorium on nuclear energy, we're the only country that has no plan to use nuclear energy whatsoever. Like, even
despite the massive uranium deposits.
Exactly, right. A third of the world's deposits. Even the greenies at COP28 in December last year came together. All of our allies, I mean, France, the US, etc., Canada got on board, said that we need to triple our use of nuclear energy by 2050 in order to meet net zero emissions targets. I mean, even the loony greenies at COP28 say that we need to go down the nuclear road and we can't countenance it. And it's interesting, looking at those US states that have the cheapest power, all the ones that have a high concentration of nuclear energy, which state in Australia do you think has the highest power prices? Have a guess.
Isn't it South Australia?
It is South Australia. You know why it's South Australia?
Because they blew up all their coal.
They have 70% renewable energy in South Australia. And I've written about this in the Advertiser tomorrow. Go and have a read of it. The madness. I mean, just down there in South Australia this week, the Premier said that they're going to bring forward their net zero emissions target for energy from 2030 to 2027. I mean, we are writing the longest suicide note you have ever seen in your life when it comes to energy. You know, the difference between 2030 and 2027 when it comes to emissions it's not all that great. The difference it makes when it comes to your power bill is humongous, and we keep going down this road. Bowen won't listen. Oh, the most expensive form of energy known to man. Mate, you are not a serious minister.
And nobody denies the upfront costs are big, but no bigger than what we've been bleeding on your jolly subsidies for years now. In return for what? Oh, renewables going to be the cheapest. Renewables going to be the cheapest. Well, if you're lying about that, I think most Aussies have figured out you might be lying about nuclear being the most expensive, mate.